So I promised to give you a second and maybe even a third video this week because the questions this week were fantastic. And I'm going to read you this second question. I'm sure a lot of you can benefit from this. I'm going to read it. Here it goes. You have spoken in the past about credibility. Much like in the working market, one runs into the problem of not having enough experience to get the jobs they want. The whole needing experience to get experience dilemma. In regards to credibility, what kinds of investments, business ventures, experiences in general should we be looking for to build our credibility and experience as newcomers? Great question. I'm glad you brought that question to me because you've heard me say a million times it's far more important to have credibility than it is to have credit when you're on the side of the entrepreneur and investor. So, credibility. What is credibility? It's believability, it's integrity, it's people trusting that you're going to do what you say you can do. So, how do you develop that? Of course, it's not easy. And again, if you don't have a lot of experience to show people, if you don't have past performance to show people, how do you develop that? So, I have a bunch of different ways that I have used, and I'll give you some stories and I'll give you some examples that allow you to gain credibility over time. So credibility oftentimes is a time issue, right? So over time, you'll gain more and more credibility. Some of it is an exposure issue. If people don't know who you are and what you do, then you certainly don't have credibility. But as far as what types of investments or business, it doesn't matter. What you have to do is become credible within a specific area. So if you say you're a real estate investor, then you need to develop credibility as a real estate investor. If you say you do securities, you have to develop credibility in securities. And whatever it is specifically that you want to do, that's the area you need to focus on and develop credibility. So how do you do it? Lots of different ways. If you're a business person, one of the ways that you can quickly gain credibility and really the cheat sheet to getting a lot of customers and clients is joint venturing. So what is joint venturing? Is creating a relationship with another business owner on a particular project. So I'll give an example. Years ago, I had an online product that taught people how to market their websites. And this was way back when, websites were just becoming really popular and everybody wanted to have one, but no one knew how to drive traffic to it or to market their website. And so I said, well, wow, how can I gain credibility? People know that I do business, they know I do marketing, but I don't have credibility specifically in the industry of online marketing. So what I did was I contacted the guy who developed my own website. And I said, well, he's got credibility as a web developer. If he just endorsed me to his list of clients who he developed websites for, that would give me credibility. So what I did was I created a joint venture agreement with him. I wrote out a letter of endorsement that he could send out to his entire list. And I didn't rely on him sending it out. I asked him for a copy of his list, the emails of every client that he had. I showed him the letter of endorsement that gave me credibility as a online marketer. I asked if I could send it out. He approved it. I sent it out. And for everybody who bought my product, I gave him 20% of the money that I made. And our agreement was once he got paid on it once. If they bought other things from me, he would not get paid again. But what it did was instantly give me credibility to his list of clients because he had already established credibility. So joint venturing is a great way to do it in business as a trusted referral. So if you've done work for someone else, it's important to get referrals, testimonials. That's the name of the game. If you can get other people to tell other people, and there's a process that you follow in business, right? And so you go from making somebody a customer, which means they bought from you one time, to a client, which means that you take care of them, to what we call an advocate. So I want to get people to the point where I've taken care of them so well that they tell other people and they advocate for me. So that's another way to gain credibility. That just takes time. You basically can create partnerships. So I'll give you another example. I owned a software company at one time, and it was a guy who developed a software. This guy was a Harvard graduate, and he developed a software for real estate agents and brokers. And it was a really robust system. It made things easier for them to organize and to market and so forth. So he and I just did not get along. We were from different worlds. We spoke different languages. Um, it was horrible. The relationship was horrible at first. What I did was I got a partner who was more familiar with that area of the world. And so he had gone to, prestigious schools himself. His father was a doctor, so he came from that world. And I let him be the mouthpiece for me. And they connected well. And instantly, because they came from that same world, it gave me credibility as a partner. So that's another way to do it. So we have joint venturing, we have partnerships, we have being a trusted referral. Sometimes what you have to do is do some free work. So it's just like when you go to BJ's or some other place and they want you to buy the product. So they give you a free sample and you taste the free sample and like, oh, wow, this is fantastic. And so you end up buying the product. Sometimes you have to, just like an artist, build a portfolio. And what does that mean? That means that you find some people that can endorse you. Don't do it for people who can't buy later or can't, refer you to other people who can buy. But you do some work for free. You let people see the value of your work by doing it free. You build up a clientele, you build up a list of work that you've done, and then you can share that with other people and say, hey, look at the work I do. So that's really important. You can also do apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are really important. So you can find someone who is doing things that are on the level that you want to do them on, and you apprentice with them. And how does that give you credibility? Well, you can say, I worked for so-and-so, who's one of the top people in this industry. Also, what will happen is if you're a good apprentice, that person will connect you to their network of resources, their network of suppliers, their network of customers. There have been many times when I've given people access even to my financiers when they're working on a project. So, to develop credibility, you can do all those different things. Really important that you gain the credibility to be successful. So hope that answered your question. I'll be bringing you another video really soon. Again, your feedback is critically important so I can keep this going and really target specifically the things that you want.